Alright, hello girls and girls. So we started our mental health unit last week. So today we're talking about a pretty heavy topic, which is teenage suicide. So going through this, it's going to be, more difficult on some of you and more than others. So if any of the conversations make you feel uncomfortable, you just need to take a walk, write yourself a pass, you can go to the bathroom, go for a walk. I don't want to make any of you uncomfortable. But it is something that I feel is important to talk about in this class. So some not so fun facts about teen suicide. You have your notes there in front of you, so I want you to write these facts down. Suicide is the third leading cause of death in teenagers 15 to 24 years of age. So that's right in your age bracket. And let's see, last year, 4,316 suicides occurred between students ages 15 to 24. So that's a pretty surprising number, huh? Pretty big number. So I wrote it down here just so you can kind of get a visual. So 4,316. As far as all Americans, looking at the big picture, over 38,000 suicides occurred in all of America last year. So some risk factors for suicide include depression. So we were talking about depression, anxiety last week. That's a risk factor that can lead up to these suicidal tendencies, suicidal thoughts. Alcohol and drugs, bullying. These are all things that we've talked about so far. Stress over school and relationships, stress over your sexual orientation or sexual identity. So these are all risk factors that lead up to that. So again, all this mental health stuff that we've been talking about, this is like the last straw. So we really want to take good care of our minds and bodies in the meantime so that nobody gets to this point. But those numbers show that there are a lot of people your age that do get to that point, right? Okay. So when you guys are all done writing and taking notes, I want you to look up here, pens down. Perfect. So you can stand up. And then I have a couple of scenarios to give to you guys. So do you see all the pieces of paper on the wall around you? Okay. So I'm going to read a scenario, and then I want you guys to walk over to the piece of paper that most closely represents the answer that you think would be appropriate for that scenario. And keep in mind there are no right and wrong answers, okay? So it's whatever you think is the best answer for that scenario. So the first one, if you're having a tough time with school, with a relationship, you're just feeling really bad about yourself for a lot of days in a row, who would you talk to first? Or what would you do first? Okay. How about you, Josh? Who would you talk to first? Okay. Alright, this is the first one that I chose because look at how many people are friends. You guys would talk to your parents. That's good. Parents can be a great resource. But the majority of people who are going through mental health problems or concerns talk to their friends first. So that's why it's really important to be a good friend and to know the resources, not only for yourself, but if you have a friend who you're concerned about, you should know the resources in the community and school that you can talk to them and have them go, okay? So, perfect. So friends, parents, both good choices, but where do you go from there? So say you have a friend who's really sad and you're concerned that they've been hurting themselves. What would you recommend that they do? Who should they go talk to? Guidance counselor. Perfect. You guys all say the guidance counselor, huh? All right, who knows where the guidance counselor's office is? Down the hall, exactly. What's the guidance counselor's name?
Yeah, Mr. Donahue or Miss McGillicuddy.
Yep, exactly. We have two of them. So those are certainly two people that you can go see if you're having any struggles, or you can go with a friend to be a support and recommend that they go see this person. That's good. Say it's after school hours and you're talking to a friend on the phone and they say that they're having thoughts of suicide, that they have a plan to commit suicide. What would you recommend that they do? Where would you send them? Who would you call? Who would you go talk to? And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. I'm just seeing what your thoughts are here. Back to the parents, alright,
Just cameo.
okay. And you're saying bring to the hospital? Okay, and you guys say 911. Alright, all good answers. So if you have a friend that is willing to go to the hospital, and you have your license, you have transportation, you feel comfortable driving them, that's certainly an option. Same thing with parents, if you have a parent who's available, wants to drive them to the hospital, that's appropriate too. But what if a friend doesn't want to go to the hospital? What do you do? What if they say, I don't want to see anybody, I'm just going to try to get through tonight, I'm fine.
If you tell your parents or their parents, if they, their parents might be able to take them somewhere, whether they want to or not.
Okay,
Against their will.
okay. Can you call 911 if somebody doesn't want you to?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, why?
it's still an emergency situation. They might not be aware of, like they're thinking, they might not be thinking straight to even make the decision that they're okay or not okay.
Right, and they're at risk for harming themselves, you wanna make sure that their safety is taken care of, right? So absolutely call 911 even if they don't want you to, if they're saying that they're okay, if they're talking about ending their life or seriously hurting themselves, you need to call 911. And you need to make sure that a trusted adult is involved in the situation as well. The worst thing that you can do is keep it a secret. So the friend might say, don't tell anybody, but I'm doing this or whatever. You wanna make sure that you're protecting your friend and that you're doing the right thing and going to these resources here depending on what the situation is. Okay, one of these over here that nobody walked to, I meant to mention it at the beginning of class. Who's heard of Samaritans or Samaritans? Yep, what do you know about them?
Just the signs off
You've heard.
bridges,
Do you know what the signs say?
there's other options, like that they're a source to turn to.
Yep, and it usually says desperate.
Yeah.
Desperate, call Samaritans. Have you ever noticed where they're located?
Have bridges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I know, so, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
It's
So-
happens, that's the one.
exactly. Why do you think that they're strategically placed like that?
Because it's commonplace for people to think about suicide.
Right, that might be a place that somebody might act it out.
Mm.
Their last straw. So that's why those signs say desperate, call Samaritans. And there's a website for Samaritans, which is SamaritanHope.org. And there's also a part of that website that's dedicated to teenagers and teenage suicide prevention and health. And that's called Samaritans. There are actually some students from your high school here that volunteer for them. So they have volunteers all across Massachusetts who you can call, you can chat with on like instant messaging. So if you're concerned about a friend or you're concerned about yourself, you can always use that as a resource too. Okay, any questions? Okay, so again, I know that this is a really heavy topic to go through, but it's really important because those numbers that I discussed at the beginning, those are real. It's happening with students your age, it's happening with your friends, so you need to be a good friend to other people, recognize the signs, know the resources for them, and also know that there's help for you if you're ever feeling like this. So you can talk to me, you can talk to any of these people in the school, guidance counselor, parents, talk to anybody outside the school, it's listed here. Just make sure that you get help if you need it, okay? All right, thanks.